everybody. How are you today? Well, it looks like a small crowd, but you know what? Sometimes more is not always merrier. Some days it is, and some days it isn't. I am so excited about where we are today in history. My laptop is just not cooperating. Sorry, y'all. You know, when I do this by myself, I'm trying to keep up with chats over here. So when you see me doing that, I'm looking at my phone at my Rumble chats, and then I'm also trying to keep up with YouTube chat. I am going to mind my P's and Q's today, hopefully, because I don't want to lose my YouTube channel. I have to be careful about that. And right now, a lot of that stuff's going around that we're within almost exactly 30 days of 11/5. And we all know what's going to happen on 11/5, or we're thinking we do, but maybe not. So I'm not going to go into that any deeper, or it would be a problem on YouTube. I'm just grateful and thankful that we have amazing weather here in Arkansas today. I hope you do where you are. I am praying that anything that's trying to develop in the Gulf or the Atlantic stays very far away from the rescue efforts that are happening over in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee. I have had such a burden for those people on my heart. And if you're in Telegram, on Reels, or plenty of TikTok being sent to me, thank goodness people are actually downloading those and putting them out to where I can see some of them. But my children had, rather than doing gifts at Christmas this year, they were going to take the granddaughters snow skiing and tubing. They were going to Beach Mountain in North Carolina, where my son-in-law's army buddy lives, and they were going to, all meet up over there and have a great Christmas vacation. Well, that, as you all know, is not going to happen. I mean, I don't foresee that things there are. I'm having to go out and come back into Rumble. Sorry, y'all. It bleeped on me. I hope it's not pausing on y'all, because it's showing pause on me. They were going to go and celebrate Christmas, just having a good family time. And to me, more and more every day, that's better. And those children will remember that way over any gift that they could be given. So they're looking at that having to be canceled. And praise God, the young man's wife over there, his in-laws, her parents have been located. They are not heard word that I know of from her grandparents yet still, because they're all up on the mountain. And apparently almost every road and bridge has completely washed out. I don't even know how my children on a side-by-side are going to get over to the mountain from where these people live. Please be in prayer. They're trying really hard to prepare my daughter, because every day they are finding more and more bodies. She is trying to prepare herself for that mentally. I don't know that that's something you ever are prepared for. And of course, the longer time goes on, and that just becomes a worse circumstance. That's all I can say. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to go there, but I'm praying for all of them. And I'm praying for my kids' safety and the people. I'm praying that they still are finding their loved ones alive. And I am so praying that the United States military and guards step up and do the right thing, with or without being given orders, because I cannot believe that sheriffs and fire marshals and people are actually trying to arrest and keep citizens from using their gas, their helicopters, their time and endangering themselves from the places they're having to land and do different things. I cannot believe that Americans are trying to stop Americans from helping one another. I don't even have that fiber in me. If I had a side-by-side or a good four-wheeler, I would be going with them. But I don't. So I have loaded up garbage bags of t-shirts, sweatshirts, because they're transitioning probably into fall over there, and it's probably really cool at night. I got to go through the coat closet today, but we called our local dentist office. So shout out to Glover, Siegfried, and Hill in Cabot, Arkansas, because they have gotten together a bag of toothbrushes, toothpaste, and things like that to send with them. A lot of people are donating money. Thank you to the Edge Church family for sending donations, and to Dr. Miller for sending money on behalf of the church. This will help them be able to buy. I know one thing is Noah's going to pick up some MREs, because cooking, if they don't have gas stoves, is an issue right now. So I'm forever thankful and grateful for the people that I do life with. I covet your prayers. And by the way, for those of you in our Telegram group, my robot vacuum cleaner is attacking the door. Sorry, y'all, if that sounds really obnoxious, but it is on the threshold of the door that goes to my office. It's not moving. Josh called and gave a praise report that his 11-year-old nephew went through surgery great on his wrist, and actually had a God moment, a real good experience. Hopefully that young man banks that in his mind for the rest of his life, and will build his faith around something that the Lord gave him an experience with. So thank you all that prayed for Josh. Yeah, Houston's been hit by so many storms, and who knows what's going to happen before this wonderful hurricane season's over with, because we all have our opinion on what's happening with that. We will just pray that we weather the storms beautifully. I'm going to get to moving a little bit faster. I'm going to talk a little bit faster, so I hope y'all are listening fast. Today is Rosh Hashanah. So Shana Tova. If you don't have apples and honey, maybe you want to get some, because until sundown tomorrow night, it's the celebration of Rosh Hashanah. It is the new year of on the Hebrew calendar. And I am just so excited about what that is for this time for us. But we have been doing a little bit of work from the Hebrew book. If you read any of the description of the show today, I'm so excited, because it just worked out that today's word is shalom. And if you're over there, you'll pass people, they'll use shalom. We use it a lot of times at our church at the end of a prayer, or, when we're leaving, and pastor will say shalom. He always says nothing missing, nothing broken, or he says nothing broken, nothing missing. It doesn't matter. It means same thing. You can reverse them. But shalom is peace. To some people, the idea of peace is a stress-free day. To others, peace is the serenity of a gorgeous sunrise or sunset. Whatever your definition, peace is something we all want. But do you pursue it? Do you seek peace? Do you chase after it every day? In ancient Jewish tradition, peace was valued more than truth. The rabbis would argue that if there is a situation in which truth and peace were in conflict with each other, peace should take precedence. Perhaps this is because the Hebrew word for peace is shalom, which means to be wholly unified with God and others. Among the rabbis, it was more important for you to be unified with God and others than to be right. My friend Andy Stanley puts it into modern terms when he says, "You are more important than my view." But how often do we get this turned around and put our need to be right ahead of others? The first believers in God taught those who follow God should love peace and pursue it. Love thy neighbors and attract others to scriptures. This is the peace Jesus offers. Peace with God, peace of God, and peace with each other. This is the sort of peace that attracts people to truth. Does your life exhibit peace like this? How will you attract people to God today through the peace you display? And right now, more than ever, all of the Middle East needs shalom in their life. And they would be saying, of course, today is Thursday going into Friday. So your normal Shabbat is Friday, but they're celebrating Rosh Hashanah. So they do say, like I said, Shana Tova to everyone they see over there this time of year. And the other thing starting tomorrow would be Shabbat Shalom. So just a little bit of sci-fi trivia. When you see this, which if you're a Trekkie, you know where that came from, but Leonard Nimoy was a Jew. And so that is what they do when they bless their people. And when you pray blessings over them, a lot of times you'll see that symbol. That is a symbol for the peace and blessings. So just putting that out there. I'm going to go real quick. My scripture where I'm at today is in Isaiah, and it's chapter 14. I'm a little behind, y'all. We were kind of crazy at church on Sunday because we had more people than that church has ever had in it before, with having Amanda there. And we're some of the last that left that day to kind of pick up and do some of the things. So my Bible got left at church. I just got it back yesterday. I'm a little behind on my reading this week, but chapter 14 was very pivotal because God is telling you how he's dealing with Israel. He's telling you how he's dealing with Babylon, which that is in Iraq. And then he also tells you how he's dealing with Assyria, which is Iran. Pretty interesting that word from way back in the Old Testament could still be totally relevant for today, hence the living word. If you get the chance to go on YouTube and maybe look up the Jewish blowing of the shofar for Rosh Hashanah, you just have to put it in and kind of see what comes up. They blow the shofar 100 times, and the last blow is supposed to last really long and go on forever. I am not good at the shofar yet, but I will show you that this one did come back from Israel with me. We do blow it at our church. If this hurts your ears, I'm sorry, y'all. And for anyone that's jumping on with us, I need a thumbs up. I need y'all to give this a like on YouTube and on Rumble. And we're going to try really hard for me to get this right the first time. But when I have lipstick on, sometimes it really screws it up. And then when I get through, I'm probably going to have to fix my lipstick too. So let's see if I can do this morning. Yeah, after a minute, it doesn't want to do it very well for me, but we blow it 3 times at our church, and there's a group of us. It's not just me by myself, thank goodness, because that would be so scary, because some of them are a lot better at that than me. But the blowing of the shofar is huge, because all the way through the Bible, when you see or read that God tells them to blow trumpets, the walls of Jericho fell when they followed the rules and blew the trumpets. It's just over and over. My mind is totally blank because I didn't prepare for that part, but the trumpet is a shofar, and that is what they would have blown. It wouldn't have been a silver one that we, see in our bands and stuff nowadays. I am going to try to blow through this information today fast, y'all. This is our book, and I've been taking y'all through it. Even though y'all are guys, I'm taking you through my girly journal. I try to keep it legit down the middle of the road for everybody. But it's so interesting that the Lord knows how to put things right in your path and be right on time. And this is from Proverbs 31. So it does lean a little bit more to the girls today. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Guys, appreciate what you have. And if there's single mothers around you, lift them up and show them the love of Christ. It was interesting that they used a couple of the words, because the word charming is not one we use much anymore, and it has some different meanings to it. The world is full of charming, beautiful things that will ultimately leave you empty and disappointed if you value them over God in your life. What are we seeing in the last bit of everything in this exposure deal? All the stars, all the pro ball, all the politicians, have they all sold out for fame and fortune and the shiny things? I thought that was really interesting. A woman who fears the Lord is to be praised, because the values of God are above everything else. The value of God is above everything else. He is the only one who can truly fulfill the deepest needs and desires, and the only one who won't leave you disappointed and empty in the long run. What are some of the things you find value in? And do you carry these things in the appropriate weight in your life, or do you overvalue them? Do you fear the Lord and trust God's sovereignty in your life? One thing that hit me really hard on that in the last couple of years, because the world has been so weird. My normal life, the things I do, switched. My gears switched 4 years ago. And for a time being, I got so down the rabbit hole. And some of you that's hung out with me for a long time know this. I got so down the rabbit hole in so many areas, and I started doing the lives and started just soaking myself into everything I could figure out about why things went wrong in 2020. And then in 2021, it didn't get corrected like we thought it should. Yes, I'm on YouTube this morning, y'all. So all of my family over in Rumble, I'm tiptoeing around my words carefully, okay? I started doing a show in June of 2021, and it was 5 nights a week, y'all. 5 nights a week. I did that for a year almost. And the Lord just really got to the point that it was like I was taking my family for granted, because it was like 7 to 8 every single night. Well, that's dinner time a lot of times, especially in the summer here in the South. For about 2.5 years, I took a lot of time away from my husband and my family. I would miss events to get home to have to do a live. And so there can be certain times in your life that you can get out of balance. But then to keep a marriage and to keep my children from being very unhappy with me, I knew I had to get things back in balance. And that's a little bit of why I shifted gears over into Hero. I stopped doing nighttime stuff and went to doing daytime stuff when my family was at work, or for the most part at work. We went back to being able to have a life, date night, friend nights, able to go to different things. So you can get out of balance for a period, but you can't let that go on too long, or it would destroy the godly relationships in your life. When you don't go to a wedding, or you don't go, you have to have a balance. It's not that you can't have this sometimes or this sometimes, because there's times that we have stuff going at the church or with the church that we might be there 2 or 3 nights in a row. We might be there on Sunday, and I might have more Jesus of that in that week or that 2-week little stint than I normally do. But for me, that makes everything else that would be out of balance, because I'm just focused on that. Anytime we stay focused too long on one thing without getting it back in balance, you get the apple cart upside down. So I'm just saying that, yes, you can focus, just like when it comes to your kids getting married or something like that. You have to focus on that to get that event accomplished. You have to have the showers, you have to have the rehearsal, you have to have the wedding, you have to have the cleanup. But once that's done, then you go back to life and regular life. So you must keep a good balance. That's all I'm going to say about that. We're going to keep it super short on the dreams today because I see our guest has popped into the back room and be bringing her on in just a minute. Nothing happens unless first a dream. That was by Carl Sandburg. Dreams are not just what happen while we sleep. Dreams are aspirations, desires, goals, hopes, and indicates that these dreams happen while you are wide awake. Your best dreams and plans for your life are usually while you're wide awake. Now, some of us have dreams that you think about this invention or you know, what you need to go do to accomplish to make something happen great. But usually it's while you're thinking. Possibility and hope, yet are always there tied to our dreams, but most people seem to have a sense of hopelessness about their dreams. You dream about the mansion, but you forget to ask the Lord to put things on your heart that can bring the income to go to get you the mansion. So Habakkuk 2:4 says, write the vision and make it plain. Next week, I will do my best because my dream board I have had for a couple of years, it's been shifted and adjusted, but it's rather large. I will try to reset my computer where y'all could see it. You've got to start where you are with what you got. That means you may not have the big bank account yet, but you've got a goal that you're determined to accomplish, and you need to write it down. You need to give it a date. You may change the date, but don't change the dream and don't change the goal. You might have to adjust the steps of the goal of how you get there. God gives us dreams or glimpses of our destiny. Those snapshots of the future seem so much bigger. You have to rationalize it to the baby steps so you don't put it on the shelf and just walk away from it. You limit your life if you stick that on the shelf and go, yeah, that's never going to happen. You're the one that are in control of that part of your dream. So just remember that. God does not frustrate, he motivates. So if you get excited about what you have planned for humanitarian projects or what you have, you know, maybe you want to rebuild an old car. Okay. Do you have a picture of that old car? Do you have it the exact color you want it? I encourage you, print off a black and white and get you a paint pen and paint it the color you want it. Don't print one off if you hate red and it's red, because when you move towards it, your mind sees what it's been looking at. And that's just like, you know, when you're aiming a gun or an arrow or anything, when you aim at it, you're looking at the target. You're not just looking at the sights on that. You're looking at the target. When you look at the hole in golf and not at your ball, chances are you're going to get a whole lot closer to the hole, because if you're just looking down at the ball, your ball ain't going very far. So that's all I have to say about that today. And I hope y'all come back and join me for another one. I think I'm going to be able to do maybe. I don't know if I'll do a Dare to Dream next week or not. I'll be in a hotel in Orlando, Florida, if everything goes. And so I will be trying to do that. Noah's going to stay home and hold down the fort with Charlie. And Mr. Welch and I are going to go out of town with some friends and the ACN and Impact Health crew. So no further ado, I have guests that I'm bringing on, so I hope they're ready. Sometimes, you know, when we tell them that they're in the backstage, they're not. Well, let me add y'all story.
We're ready. We're ready.
I'm so glad, and I'm sorry that things went a little bit longer on that, but I've been trying to do some motivational stuff because everybody seems to be in a funk with things that are happening in the world. And I just want everybody to get ready for how many things God has in store for all of us.
Oh, for sure. And I'll tell you, as fired up as you are this morning about what's happening with our brothers and sisters in the Carolinas, I have been equally fired up. So I was back here just cheering you on, saying, "You go, girl." Because
Well, my two oldest kids, my daughter and her husband, they're loading up tomorrow and going to drive for 12 or 13 hours and carry their side by side and deliver goods to people up on the mountains.
good,
So
good for them.
y'all pray for my babies because Mama's having a hard time.
Well, yeah, I can only imagine, but at the same point, they're doing God's work, and we all have to get together. We have to help these people.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
And just to let y'all know, we are on YouTube and Rumble. So
Yes, thank you. I heard that. I heard that. So we will choose our words carefully. Oh my gosh, Trina, we're so excited to be on this platform. We appreciate you. We appreciate all you're doing. And, for us, this is a mission to help our animals and to help people. I think about all these poor animals that are stranded and maybe swimming in water, or maybe their families couldn't take them with them. And it's a reminder to all of us to always have a metal crate, because if you are in a situation where you're evacuated to an evacuation center, you cannot take your animal if you do not have an approved crate. And I know for me, I'd stand outside with my puppy. I wouldn't go in, so it's a reminder to all of us that when we prepare, we have to prepare for our animals too. If they're on medications or they have special diets, we have to have that loaded up also for our fur babies. But we so appreciate you and your mission. Our mission is to get 1 million voices. And for some of you out there who don't know who we are called the Mushroom Ladies. I'm Diana. This is Kristen. We're both certified in pet nutrition. We study pet health as well as human health and mushrooms. We are looking for voices. We are looking for brand advocates. Our goal is to have 1 million voices that will help us get this message out. And we have testimonials that I could just go on for hours with the testimonials. I'm going to share a couple. There's hundreds of animals that are being told that they're on their last day, and then they get something natural in their body that supports their immune system, and they perk right up. And then they're with us for another 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And I got flowers the other day from a man. His dog had passed away. And 4 months ago, he came to me and said, the doctors gave my baby 7 days to live. She's filled with cancer. She's a mess. She's 14. She's a lab. Bella Ella. And he said, what do you think? And I said, well, is Bella ready to go? He said, I don't think so. So we put Bella on our mushroom. We put Bella on our minerals. And Bella started to perk up. And next thing you know, I'm getting these videos of Bella playing and running around. And about 2 months ago, I got an email at 10 o'clock at night, which when you get an email like that, you go, oh, something bad happened. Maybe we lost Bella. And he said, I just want you to know how mad at you I am, because it's 10 o'clock at night and look at what I'm doing. Bella had woke him up to go outside and play squirt me in the face with the hose. And he did, because he was just so glad that Bella was feeling so well. The next 2 months went really well. A few days back, like last week, Bella gave up and gave it up and went to heaven. But the gratitude from the family for having 4 more good quality months with Bella Ella tells you everything. If we can get 1 more day of good quality life with our fur babies and our loved ones. And the other story that I'm going to share, and I'm going to try not to get emotional on this one, was about a year ago, I got a call from a guy that he wanted me to talk to an artist friend of his who had kidney failure and stage 4 lung cancer. And he said, you think we can do anything? And I said, God can do everything. And our mushrooms are pretty doggone powerful too, because God has given those to us. We started him on mushroom therapy. And I got a call 3 months later, after this gentleman had been told he had less than 6 weeks to live. And the guy was still with us. And for the first time, he had gotten up in the middle of the night to urinate, and he wasn't in pain. and his urine was clear. And he felt like he said he could feel his kidneys healing themselves.
Wow.
So yeah, so this was like 3 months into it. We're now 8 more months down the road. So we're 11 months into this. And I just got off the phone with Chris the other day, and he's not perfect. He's still got some issues, but his numbers are improving. And that's kind of what I want to share today is we have ability to measure things, our blood pressure, our cholesterol, even our immunity, which doctors don't tell you. They can test for that. And Kristen can touch on that. But if you have numbers that aren't where you want them to be, and you look at a product, the coolest thing about that is that you can say, I'm going to take that product and I'm going to check my numbers, because they don't lie. Now, sometimes we can lie to ourselves. Oh, I'm feeling better, or oh, I'm not feeling better. You know, animals can't do that, but we can do that. But when you have numbers, you know, like Nancy Joe, her cancer numbers were 89 and now they're 24.5. I mean, you can look at that and it's tangible. My numbers with my cancer went from off the charts to 0.5, and they've stayed there for 4 years and 7 months.
Wow.
So yeah, so we want people to understand that when you look at a product, any product, whether it's our product or anyone else's product, know where your starting point is. Like you just said about knowing what color you want the car to be. Yeah. It's the same thing. You have to know where you are to know where you're going, and you have to have a goal of where you're going. So yeah, so we're excited today because we have some new stuff to show you.
I'm so excited. I do want to tell you, Charlie truly adored, and this is my PSA on this deal. We will never, ever have rawhide treats in our house again, because he liked to have not got, it took him a month for that thing to melt or dissolve to where he could actually not cough and hack and it be stuck. Yeah. And so the antler you sent him, he wore that out.
Okay, another one's on the way. Another one's on the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but I want everybody to know, if you have a dog that likes to chew on a rawhide, you need to get the antlers. Seriously, he loved that so much better than the rawhide. Mm-hmm. Besides, it lasts like months longer. Yes, it was awesome. And
not only that, Trina, this is filled with nutritious minerals, which is going to help his organs and his joints, whereas the rawhide's doing nothing for him. Yeah,
it's actually, those rawhides can actually be toxic. You know, those things that you think are natural, like the rawhides and bones and the pig ears, are really, really heavily processed. People don't know how treated they are. They use glues, bleaches, they paint them red and all of these colors to make them look more natural, but that's paint. Even some of the antler that is in like the big box stores, they bleach them. They bleach them. They paint them with furniture stain to make them look like they're fresh. So when you see like super shiny brown antler in the store, the odds are that's been painted with furniture stain. It's really crazy. So yeah, it's really important that, you know, as pet parents, we're doing our due diligence and giving them toys and stuff that go straight from the ground into their mouth, you know, that are 100% natural with none of those treatments or anything.
Yeah, we're going to talk about toys and treats in a few minutes.
I have a funny one to follow up with y'all on that one, just so you know. My husband's going to be all the big guy. They were out doing something with some friends on some property up on one of the mountains around here. He comes home, y'all, with like half a rack of horns.
Yeah, antlers. Do you know?
I said, no, don't. And so for like 2 or 3 days, Charlie's drugged this big thing around my house because
I need a picture. I need a picture. You know,
I'll have to get it. Getting started with it. I'll send you a video.
I saw the funniest.
We got to have something new.
I saw the funniest TikTok yesterday. There was a guy with all of his trophies of all of his hunting, his deer and his buffalo on the wall. And then it showed the dog tearing apart a toy, and all of the stuffed animals that had been destroyed were pinned up on the wall, and the dog was standing. It was hysterical because that's what they do, right? Yep. So we just lead right into our newest product. Our newest product is called Chill Doggies. Ooh, Chill Doggies. So what this is, you know, we've talked a lot about CBD and things like that for animals, and it's great for pain. But we were treating anxiety and fear and things like that with CBD when honestly, there's a different way. And we're doing it all with herbs. Any anxiety, any fear, any separation anxiety,
hyperactivity.
So Charlie gets a bag of that to try.
Absolutely. I'll put it in the mail today. And this is amazing because we've made it with all natural herbs, lemon balm and rosemary and lion's mane, little cognitive stuff going on there, and catnip, because catnip for dogs is the opposite effect as it is for cats. Wow. For cats, it amps them up. For dogs, it brings them down. Mm-hmm. So as we're getting ready to go into the holiday season, you have crazy animals. The house is crazy. People are crazy. Halloween's coming. All this stuff's going on. And these poor animals are stressed out. My little Cody gets motion sickness. This just takes him down a notch and it chills him out. Awesome. So we're so excited about our new Chill Doggies product. I can't say enough about it.
Well, it's hunting season in Arkansas.
There you go.
Oh, the noise. Oh.
And last weekend, on the weekends especially, it's dove season, or it's been dove season. Oh my goodness. We sit on the back porch and have coffee, and Charlie's usually right there just laying out, all casual, totally fine. And when the gunshots start, the pacing, the panting, and he wants in the house. He doesn't want to hear it. So I'm excited because deer season's right behind dove season.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'm excited. I'll get them in the mail to you today because you will see such a difference in Charlie. And the cool thing is they're scored, so you can break them in half and you can give them a quarter or a half, whatever you think. You have to experiment a little bit to see how your dog is going to react. And too much just means they go to sleep. They can't overdose on it. So the next product that we have, I'm so excited. Christmas is coming, and this is a limited edition, and it's the most crazy thing I've ever heard. It is mushroom coffee with blueberry and cinnamon. Think about that combination. You can smell it. Can you smell it? Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
Yeah, that's for the people, not the pets, right?
For the people.
I just wanted to shift gears there.
It has the Coriolis versicolor mushroom in it for immune support. And Kristen's going to go over how valuable that is to our body. But this is a limited edition. We had some Saturday when we were in Simi Valley, and it was like heaven. I would have never thought of putting cinnamon and blueberries together in coffee. It's amazing. And then the other thing that we've done that's really exciting is our pet balm. Pet balm. Have you ever seen a dog with a crusty nose or paw pads that look rough? So think about if you never put moisturizer on your skin, how itchy and flaky and horrible it would feel. If you never put moisturizer on your face, how itchy and flaky and miserable and tight it would feel. So this pet balm, which is arrowroot and shea butter and a little bit of reishi mushroom and a little bit of arrowroot. You can rub it on their nose. You can rub it on their paws. You can even put it on hot spots, and it will make it all supple and wonderful. It is amazing to use this. Now, I've had people after they've used it said, can I use it for myself? Because they've seen such amazing results. And the answer is yes. We have it for humans also. This is really good for prickly heat. It's good for eczema. If you get a sunburn, any kind of skin issues.
Especially people who work like in construction or people that work in restaurants where their hands get really dry and cracked. So they're washing them a lot or using them a lot. We have people that have tried hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars worth of creams and ointments and all of these types of things, and nothing helps. And then this little 4 ingredient, all natural, balm, they put it on and they're like, oh my goodness, just instantly it moisturizes and helps the body.
That's awesome, because my daughter, she's an RN and she has to do the gloves, and then you do a lot of hand sanitizer in between the gloves. And I mean, literally her hands would bleed.
They'll crack and bleed. Well, the combination of the hemp oil and the shea butter and the coconut oil and the rose, all of these things together, it just works. My husband's hands are much better for it. So we're excited. And then our newest mushroom product, and I'm loving this because somebody brought me this today. I don't give a shiitake. Is the shiitake mushroom. Patrick gave me this today.
Is that a dog toy?
Cody thinks it is, but he isn't getting
No.
it. This is
I was fixing to say, y'all might have a new idea for a new product.
This is our new,
That's
really.
fun.
So we've added the shiitake mushroom, and this is exciting for us because the shiitake mushroom, if you Google it and look at it, it's like a miracle mushroom, not only for the immune system, but it actually has antiviral protection.
Yeah.
Moving into cold and flu season, there are studies that it actually will help to prevent the C virus. We're not going to go there. But it is a key source of vitamins and minerals, B12, C for energy, copper, so many amazing things. Supports your cardiovascular. But the biggest thing about this is the antiviral properties. And as we are going into these seasons where everybody's going to be around everybody and people start to not feel well, we want to protect ourselves. I have to snicker. I do this. I load up a little bit when I know I'm going to be around a lot of people. And I did a class the other day for 33-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 30 of them. It was like herding cats. Well, 3 to 5-year-olds. But I knew I was walking into a petri dish. And I knew that I would catch anything, because you know how that is with all these little ones. So I doubled up on my Enforce. I took a little bit of my shield. I went in. I had the greatest take care of your pets event with these little children. And I came out and I didn't get sick. Whereas before, I would have come out and the next 4 days I would have been sniffing and coughing and sneezing because I was around all those little petri dishes.
So my question is, who did you piss off to get that assignment? Because that right there, that's pretty close to telling me I'm going to spend a few hours in hell with Satan.
I was asked by the pastor to come and
I would tell my pastor the tithing's over and I'm hitting the door.
Yeah, and I've done them a few times, and Trina, it's so much fun. First of all, they all have animals, and I had to learn how to talk to these little ones because, man, you got to keep them going, man. You got to go because one gets out of line and they're all gone. But we talked about, just basic general animal health and what you can do to be a better pet parent and how you can help mommy wash the bowl and don't pull their tail and let them sleep when they're supposed to sleep. And it was really interactive. It was funny because out of the mouths of babes, one guy said, my dog poops on everything, and I'm sure the mother was just in the back, like doing that. But I've done it a few times. It's really fun. Yeah, so I'm going to
call now.
I'm going to turn it over to Kristen. She's going to talk a little bit about mushroom therapy and our immune system, and then we'll be back to talk about some of our products.
Awesome.
I don't even know how to follow that up, including the little mushroom. I can't get over that. But one thing about that shiitake mushroom that's so important for people right now is it's also rich in vitamin D. And I myself used to be very deficient in vitamin D. I know a lot of Americans are extremely deficient in vitamin D. I think a lot of that is because they convinced us to be scared of the sun, when the sun is our best friend. But, they, with the vitamin D, it really helps to support the immune system as well. And that's a very rich in vitamin D, so it's good for people and they should get that into their system. But mushroom therapy is so important. I'm not only certified in pet nutrition, but I also got certified in mycology. And I was actually inspired because I watched a documentary called Fantastic Fungi. And when I learned God's design and I saw how intelligently just brilliant nature is and how everything works together in just this amazing harmony, it really inspired me. And I was like, I need to learn more about mushrooms because they truly are God's gift. And they're not just something, every step that you take on the earth, 80% of that step, you're stepping on mushrooms and the mycelial network. The spores are all around us all the time in the air. And so as I've been learning more about mushrooms, it really encourages me, especially, you said, with what's going on, we have to use what we have with where we are. I was like, oh my goodness, this is what we have. This is what God has given us. And it's growing abundantly in nature for all of us, all animals, all of creation, to have access to and to tap into, to use it to support the body. And that's the way that God designed it in the first place. And so it's really, the answers have literally been under our feet the entire time. that we've been walking through this and going through what a lot of people are going through. And so it's so important that we are using what God has given us, these biological technologies, to keep the body supported and to keep it strong, so that we can do what we're called to do. We can be productive. We can contribute, like your daughter and your son-in-law going into these areas. It's hard to contribute. It's hard to help when you don't feel well. You know, when you are depressed or anxious or are tired or in pain, it's hard to do what God has called us to do. So we need to be doing everything we can to strengthen our bio armor. We hear about all these bioweapons that could potentially be coming out and all that. But guess what? God has given us the answer. We have bio armor naturally built into our bodies. It's already inside of us. We just have to eat the right foods to keep it supported so it can do what it was designed to do. So we're very diligent with the mushrooms that we are able to give people access to. We use very pure and potent strains. That's so important to us. God has truly given us a gift, and we want to be good stewards of it. And we want to make sure that we're very responsible with it so that it can do what it's supposed to do. But the immune system is fully capable of handling everything that happens to the body, from small things like the colds and the viruses and those types of things, all the way up to the most catastrophic, like life-threatening conditions that you can think of. The immune system is fully equipped to handle that. But it's been compromised, especially the older that we get, the more compromised it gets, the weaker it becomes. And this is a result of a lot of the foods that we're eating, the quality of the foods, the quality of the water, the quality of the air that we're breathing, you know, the quality of the products that we're putting onto our skin gets absorbed directly into our bloodstreams, what is being put into our bodies, you know, via other methods. All of these things are compromising the immune system. So the same thing is happening with our pets. You know, 65% of our pets are getting those stage 3, stage 4 conditions now. 1 out of 3 develop allergies. There are 6 million new cases of diabetes. We're seeing a rise in autoimmune diseases in our pets. 20% of our pets are getting autoimmune diseases, chronic arthritis. Tumors are developing at the injection sites on our pets. So this is an epidemic. We're seeing a correlation with what's happening with people, where these different conditions are up by the thousands of % over the last couple of years. So it's just, the time is now. We have to use what we have where we are. We can't wait for someone to save us. We can't wait for these future technologies when God has given us these biological technologies that we can take advantage of now, and that will benefit the body now. And we need to get this Coriolis versicolor mushroom that Diana was talking about into the system as quickly as possible. Every pet, every person, every day needs to be getting this Coriolis versicolor mushroom into the system. And that is how we can take back control, because there is a battle right now over the minds and the bodies of creation. And we need to fight with everything that we have. And the answer is right under our feet. And we believe that thanks to you and just other voices that are connecting people with this information, and it's resonating with them, and they're remembering, oh yes, God has given us everything. But we believe that we can take back all of this ground that's been lost and really advance and help animals, help people to come back to wholeness, to come back to wellness, just by eating the proper foods. Because everything that we're talking about is not a medicine. It's not a cure for anything. It's not intended to treat or mitigate or diagnose anything. It is just a food. It's no different from eating a mushroom on a salad. It grows out in nature. We eat it. It feeds the immune system. And then the immune system is what then goes into the root cause or the source of whatever's creating the symptoms or these conditions in the first place. And the immune system addresses it there. And that's why we've had such incredible experiences and such powerful results. And we can really see what God is doing through this mushroom. And now it's just moving throughout the world. I mean, we're shipping to 29 different countries right now. There's a need right now. People are needing this food. And God is really on the move, helping to restore creations and restore bodies so that we can move back to the original design and the original intention for the quality of life that He wants for all of us.
Right.
Right.
through the different products and the different companies that he's blessed me to have relationships with, and digging back into the word and finding the right things. Just like you said, you've been watching reels and TikToks and different things through the last 4 years. And I'm speaking mainly to my audience that hang out with me a lot. And if you're a newcomer, welcome. We love to have you on Hero and Redneck Rhapsody. The fasting to jumpstart to where these things can get into your bloodstream and your immune system, y'all, it's so huge.
Yeah.
I mean, 24-hour fast is good. 36 is better. 48's even better if you have some serious health issues, that if you can just do water for a 48-hour period, but if you go all the way to a 72-hour fast,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to tell you, the word backs up fasting all the way through it.
Yeah.
God knew his perfect creation could regenerate to where it can start the healing process if you take certain things out of your life and let the body do its work to some degree. So when you add things that have not had processing of an extreme amount to them, that are supplements, whether it be a hemp plant and the different parts of it, the different strands of it, whether it's a mushroom, a different type of mushroom. I mean, when she's talking about vitamin D, I've had 2 different friends that went to the hospital thinking they were having massive heart attacks, and it was excessive vitamin D deficiency.
Yes. Yes.
So please know what we bring to you on our broadcast. It's not about trying to sell you something and make some money. It's because the Lord has put things in our path that can help humanity that we've never been taught in school.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been hidden for years from all of us. And we are rebirthing how we're going to take care of his perfect creation, which is our body.
Well, and you know what you just said is really important. Everything that we do is very affordable, but Big Pharma is not excited about this because you know that they cannot patent anything that comes from nature. And this can't be synthesized. They can't make this. So there's not going to be a big push. And your doctors, I have the best doctor in the world. He has taught me some words that I really appreciate. When you go to the doctor and you say, hey, doctor, can I take this? He's pretty much obligated to say no. He can't even recommend you eat a bologna sandwich. It's not
licensed in nutrition.
Licensing.
They're licensed in medicine.
That's true. But their insurance doesn't cover them recommending anything that's not Big Pharma approved. So you have to be your own advocate and go to your doctor and say, I'm going to take this. It has 400 medical studies. If you'd like to look at the studies and then tell me if you have any reasons why I shouldn't take it, I'll listen.
Yep.
99.9% of them are going to go, okay. What's their argument? They're going to argue with Sloan Kettering. They're going to argue with MD Anderson. They're going to argue with 400 medical studies backing up what this mushroom can do for you. And so Kristen's going to cover a little bit more of that, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the products, and then we're going to move on to nutrition.
Yeah, and it's important that you realize that because it is a whole food, it doesn't interact with any medications or treatments. Right. You can't get addicted. You can't overdose. There are no side effects. There's over 400 published studies. The science is irrefutable and the research is irrefutable. And this is over several decades. So the longevity of the studies is there. So really, this is our best option. This is our best bet. And, you know, you talked about this vitamin D deficiency. Back not that long ago, humans used to spend 85% of their time in the sun.
With no sunscreen.
At 85%. Today, the average American spends 2% of their day in the sun. And then we wonder why we have these deficiencies and all these health problems. And like you said, it's because the sun is our friend. It is good for us. It gives us, it converts all the cholesterol in our body to vitamin D. Like, that's amazing when you think of it. And we're called, when creation happened, we're called as people to be stewards of it, to take care of it. And all God is doing is just restoring it. He's restoring creation. And we're so thankful for you and other companies, other pure-hearted providers, that's our goal. That's what the calling God has put on our lives, is to be a part of restoring creation, to be part of restoring the temple, which God has given us, which is our bodies. It is holy ground. Our bodies are holy ground because the Holy Spirit is with us. God is with us everywhere we go, and we need to take care of that. Right. And so we're really diligent about testing our mushroom strain for purity. We make sure that the strain is very pure. It is the most potent strain. We do have a proprietary strain that we use. That's actually the one that's been studied by several of those studies that Diana referred to. We extract it in a particular way where we're able to get as many of the polysaccharides as we can out of it in its mycelial stage, and that's what makes it so potent. There unfortunately are a lot of copiers that are out there, kind of making counterfeits because people are beginning to understand the benefits of mushrooms. So there are manufacturers out there that are putting out like mediocre product that
it's all about where and the quality of where it comes from.
And it could be diluted. It could have like synthetics in it. It could have a lot of fillers in it. And a lot of times people will see these products online and they'll say, oh, I'll take this one because maybe it costs less or something like that. But what they don't realize is that strain matters. Yeah. Extraction process matters. Yes, you can get that one bottle for that price, but because it's not very pure and not very potent, it's going to take you 5, 6, 7 of those bottles to equal what one of these bottles can do. And that's been tested. And so we always encourage people, make sure you do your research. If you're taking mushrooms, make sure that they're using a pure and potent strain. Make sure that it's constantly being tested for that and that they're extracting it in the proper way so that you're getting the most pure form of it that you possibly can. And we, at the same time, not only offer, the mushroom for people, but we also offer it for animals in a lot of different ways. We bake it into treats called the mush puppies that you can give your dogs. And or cats that like to steal stuff from dogs.
Yes, yeah.
And those have like glucosamine, keratin, chondroitin. They really are supplements just in treat form. We have these mojos, which are little pieces of hand-cut beef liver, which are rich in vitamins.
Oh my gosh, that is the favorite at the house.
Oh yeah,
not for me. Not that I'm eating them. I'm talking about Charlie, y'all.
Well, it's all human grade.
I have a long distance runner who puts these in his mouth, keeps them in his pocket, and it gives him energy when he runs. We also have a road runner in town who is eating these now, and you have chickens that are eating them.
Chickens. I have a friend actually that she has some issues with her hair and her nails, and she actually started. It's all human grade. She started eating the mojos as well, and it's like completely changed her hair growth and her nails. Yeah, because it's so many vitamins in it. It's really good. Yeah.
Well, and you guys were talking about be careful where you buy things. So just think of this. Think of gas station sushi. I mean, think of that. Exactly. The first thing is there's no way I'm buying sushi at the gas station. Well, then why would you buy some of the things that we talk about in places that probably shouldn't be selling it?
Yeah. So we also have a handmade gravy for dogs and cats called the super sauce. That's just rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants.
That's another favorite here too.
Yeah, that's one of our favorites, especially if you have a pet with some pretty serious health concerns. Yeah. We always recommend giving them that. And what's really great is with the Coriolus versicolor mushroom, you can't take too much of it. So especially, we regularly recommend if you're taking the capsules, 1 capsule for every 50 pounds. Also, the pet treats are based off of weight. However, if you do have some health concerns that are not necessarily life-threatening, but something that you would like your body to address, then we recommend 2 to 3 times the suggested amount based off of weight, just when you get started. And then as your body changes, then you can go down to the suggested amount. If you are dealing with something that's more life-threatening or catastrophic, we recommend 4 to 5 times that amount just to get started. But we know that finances can be tight right now with the condition of the economy and everything that's going on. Even if you could just get a little bit into your system. I mean, we have a young lady that was only taking one of these a day because that's all her budget would allow. And it takes longer because your immune system still has to function and work through it all. It's very intelligent, but she's making improvements over time. So even if you can just get a little bit into the system to start, that extra support can make a world of difference to the body, and your body really appreciates it.
And, my journey, Trina, with cancer, I was diagnosed in February of 2020, and I had nothing in my toolbox. I had to wait until a board deemed me worth living to be operated on, and that took 30 days. And during those 30 days, I took 10 a day of Coriolis versicolor. I was scared. I wanted to slap my immune system into submission. I wanted to give it all the support I could. I ended up being approved for surgery in 30 days. And then they did my blood work, and my numbers, here we are back to numbers again, came back showing that I was in remission. I still had to have the colon, half of it removed. I still had to have the tumor removed, and I still had to do chemotherapy because the type of cancer I had a 40% chance of reoccurrence without chemo and a 10% chance of reoccurrence with chemo. And, my father used to say, make sure that you let the facts get in the way of your decision making. And truly, as much as I didn't want to do chemotherapy, I didn't feel like I had much of an option. But during that 6 months of hard chemo, I felt good. I had bad days. And I'm not going to say it was all butterflies and unicorns. There were bad days, but I didn't look like a cancer patient. I didn't look like a chemo patient. As every healthy cell in my body was being destroyed, the support of the immune system was so strong that it was able to rebuild it quickly. It was also destroying my bone density. And per studies now that we've seen from Sloan Kettering and a few other amazing institutions, chemotherapy can actually be complemented by the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. And so as my bone density was being destroyed, my healthy cells were being destroyed, my body was given the support to rebuild. And when I came out of this whole journey almost 1 year later, I was actually better than I went into it. I wasn't depleted like most people are when they go through this trauma of cancer and surgery and chemo. I came out of it really in good shape, and I'm very thankful for that. And here I am 4 years, 7 months later, and I am still at 0.5 and feeling fabulous and no longer osteoporosis.
Awesome.
Go figure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's glory be to God. But at the same point, the mushrooms are there to help.
Well, and it all is to the glory of God. We didn't make this mushroom ourselves. It's not like something special formula that we created and designed and patented and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is literally something that God created just in its purest form. We're just blessed and fortunate to have it in its purest and most potent form.
That's
and
right.
Our bodies, like, again, the mushroom itself doesn't specifically do anything in the body. It's your own immune system that's so powerful and fully equipped to handle so many things. We're never taught what the immune system can do because we're always taught to treat the condition, to treat the symptoms, to mask it, to take the medication, to have the surgery, to do the treatment. We never actually experience what the body's able to do. And I had a really bad autoimmune disease. I started taking 6 of the capsules a day, and 5.5 months later, with no change in diet, no change in exercise, no medications, they never even found out what it was. My autoimmune marker was gone. My inflammation levels, which were supposed to be less than 1, that were 522.
Wow.
When after 5.5 months, we're back below 1. My vitamin D deficiency gone. My vitamin B deficiency gone. It was my own body that was able to put things back in balance and restore it. And that is God's work.
Right.
That is God's work, God's way. And that's what we have the gift of being able to do, is God's work in God's way. And so it's so powerful when you just listen and say yes and let God do what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. And then we say, wow, it's a miracle. This is so incredible. And he's like, this was my plan all along.
Yeah.
We just had deviated from it,
Well, I'm going to switch gears a little bit because I know we're on a time frame here, but I want to talk about treats and toys for a second. Your story of Charlie and the rawhide is what got me to reach out to you those months ago, because I saw your frustration with the industry and why that was allowed to be sold to your dog. And I have a picture that I want you to look at. I hope it comes across good. This is a X-ray of a dog's belly.
Wow.
And look at all the stuffing and look at the toy and the bone that is in his belly. So unfortunately, this happens a lot. Our animals, and we're coming into toy season, we're coming into the holidays, we're coming into when people are buying things for their animals. And I'm going to actually send you this Halloween flyer of what not to let your animals eat during Halloween, because it can kill them, like chocolate and sugar-free candy and raisins. So I'm going to send you this so you can post it for your listeners.
Okay.
But we have to be careful as we're buying these wonderful little gifts for our fur babies that we don't buy them things that are made in China that have, you know, squeakers in them that can be taken out and swallowed and ingested. There's so many wonderful little things that we have. And you mentioned the antler. These antlers have a purpose as well as they're entertaining, but they provide all these amazing minerals that a lot of times our animals are lacking. And if you have an aggressive chewer like I do, you can give them the full antler like your Charlie was carrying around. They just love them, and these last forever. But some people, you know, they're a little bit weird about antlers. So we do have the antler powder baked into a product called Bucky Bites. So if you have a dog that is licking their feet constantly, they're looking for something and they know they got it from the ground, so they're licking, but probably have a mineral deficiency. Sometimes they can have a yeast infection, which then their little feet smell like corn chips. Other than that, it's usually a mineral deficiency. This is going to help. If you also have a dog that has been on numerous medications and drugs, we worked with a dog last year that was on 10 medications, including Prozac. And we were able to get the dog off of everything except his heart meds, save the family a ton of money, have a healthier, more alert, more cognitive dog because he wasn't so drugged up, and put him on minerals and mushrooms for support. And this dog's doing fabulous. We have this incredible little hemp rope, which is all natural hemp. They can play it, they can run, they can throw it, they can eat it. And if they eat it, it's hemp.
Good. It's good for them.
It just goes right into their stomach. Yeah, the hemp rope is amazing, but we've also added an antler to it to make it a little pull toy.
Oh, yeah.
We have the cutest one for cats, because a lot of times our cat people are like, hey, what about me?
My cat.
You know, because the cat people don't get that much attention. Our mojos, the cats love them. Well, we have a little hemp rope with a bell for our little kitties, and it's put into catnip. So you can put it back in, you can shake it up, refresh it, and the cat can have a ball.
Nice.
Yeah,
We've had an overrun in the backyard. Charlie's not as on the squirrel and rabbit not getting in the fence in the backyard thing as my other two boys were. He's a little lazy. So it's gotten overrun. And I told my husband, I said, you know, they bring diseases in. And since we're not vaxxers anymore for him, we need a cat. And I said, we're going to have to find a cat. Because, like, I think I counted 6 squirrels at one time in my backyard this week. And I don't like that. They can roam my trees outside my fence, but I don't love them in my fence. So
yeah, you can get a good mouser, and that's going to scare them all away, you know.
Yes, so that may be on our near future.
Well, then we'll have to make sure we send some goodies for that baby. You know, it is really all about common sense with our animals. We'd have to be more aware of what we are getting them, what we are feeding them, what we are putting into their bellies. And one of the things that Dr. Sally Lane, a holistic vet that works very closely with us, was talking about is a lot of the causes are over vaccinations too. And those are her words, not my words, of our animals. So, you know, there are some things that we can do to talk to our vet about, is this really necessary? So we want to close with ending with nutrition, so we don't take too much of your time. Do you want to just touch on nutrition briefly?
Yeah, absolutely, because nutrition is really critical with our pets. And there's a really good documentary called Pet Fooled that looked into the pet food industry, and it showed what really is happening and what really is in the foods that we're giving them. So, you know, if you are concerned about nutrition, especially if your pets are on kibble, We want to make sure that we're giving them natural whole foods that are baked at really low temperatures, because these high temperature kibbles are full of carcinogens, they're full of preservatives and fillers and just artificial synthetic ingredients, sugars, which is why so many of our pets are getting diabetes. You know, even the higher end brands are using cheap protein fillers like peas and beans and lentils added to the food, and it's stressing their hearts and causing conditions like DCM. And so it's really important that we're being just conscious and aware of the foods that we're feeding our pets, especially because you don't think about it, but they're eating the same meal every day, every meal for their entire life. They're eating the same thing over and over and over again. There's no variety. So in response to everything that's been happening in the pet food industry, we have also formulated our own kibble as well, baked at very low temperatures with no sugars, nothing artificial, no preservatives, much more healthy for our pets. And then more close to the optimal diet, we also have a freeze-dried food that you can get for dogs and cats, that this retains 200% more nutrients because it's processed in a different way. And we also add the immune supporting Coriolis versicolor and that mineral rich antler powder as well. So they can get all that natural goodness into their bodies. And, you know, because this is a much more expensive process, it does cost a little bit more. But what a lot of people will do is they'll get it and they'll add it to what they're currently giving their pets, just as a little food topper, or in addition to what they're currently doing, they'll just give them a little bit every day. And that helps to get all that goodness in their body. And it also helps to give our pets some variety in their diets. And it's so funny because you open this bag up and you smell food. Yeah. Like it smells like carrots, and, you know, you can smell the meat. You can smell that it's actual food, you know, not all that processed stuff.
I told Kristen the story. One of our customers, the guy came home and he said to his wife, "Ooh, dinner smells good." Yeah. She said, no, I'm hydrating the dog's food. And he looked at it, he went over to the pot on the stove of what they were going to eat, and he opened it up and he's like, "Why does that food smell better than my food?"
It's funny. It does. I mean, it's just whole foods, just freeze-dried for our pets. It's so much better for their system because we do rehydrate it. It has a much higher moisture content than the kibbles and those types of foods. So it's much easier on their digestive systems. And I could go on, but, you know, at the first thing we should all do, every pet, every person, every day, should be on the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, because the immune system is first and foremost. But if you want to accelerate the progress, if you do want total wellness, then there are other things that we can do to complement the immune system, like putting the proper foods into their bodies. That's not going to compromise their immune system and attack their bodies. That's actually going to nourish their bodies and help them to thrive and help them to do well and feel better. That will accelerate the progress for our pets. So we're very adamant about people doing research on the foods, because it's really shocking. There's a great video you can actually watch called The 13 Worst Pet Foods. Just look it up, you know, online. 13 worst pet foods. You will be shocked when you find out those brands, because they're brands we're all familiar with, and you'll find out why they were labeled the 13 worst pet foods. And it really is shocking and eye-opening.
And one thing that Diana has offered our audience, if you will take a picture of your bag of pet food and email it to her at is it trinawpets@gmail.com?
Yep.
It's at gmail.com instead of just the .com where you would order from. If you will email her a picture of your pet food, she will let you know if it is good or not, safe or not.
And I'm just going to give you the good and bad on the food. You can make your own decision. But sometimes, like, I just had one of your customers email me a food, and it was the veterinarian recommended food. The first ingredient was corn. The third ingredient was corn. Really? You know, it's like, come on. So we were able to get her a little bit of a different, we kept in the same line, but we were able to get her something a little bit different, and not necessarily mean them trying to sell our food. That's not the point. The point is, let's help you make a better decision for your animal.
And make an informed decision. Exactly. Because a lot of times we buy stuff because the package is pretty, or, you know, the marketing is really convincing. And we look at the back, you know, I look at the back of the dog food and I'm like, oh, 500 ingredients. And half of them I can't even pronounce. I don't even know what half of these things are, you know. So we know that well-informed people make better decisions. And that's our primary goal, is just to educate people and let them know why they're experiencing what they're experiencing. And then to say, this is what we can do about it. This is how we can push back and reverse things and change the way that pets and people are being treated.
Yeah. And just for my audience, I know y'all have probably heard me say it over and over. I make most of Charlie's food.
Yes, you do.
He gets kibble in the evening just because the homemade food kind of doesn't stick with him all night long, and he drives me crazy and gets me up at 4 a.m. Or he would get homemade food for both meals.
Yeah.
I will say with these products, in working with the mushroom ladies, we have been able to get him off of Prozac completely. I'm so excited though that they have a new all natural calming, because that whole getting him laid back when we have a storm coming, the CBD worked for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was like he got immune to it, or I don't know. It got to where it was like I wasn't even giving him anything. So I don't know what his little system had going, but I just know that his mojos make him happy, and he's gotten a lot calmer. His coat's gotten prettier.
Aww.
And we're just doing extremely well. So if any of you want to know whether I believe in this product or not, he's been using it for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
And he loves everything I've given him. And probably more, I probably should give it to him more, but because I am on a budget, I don't order it like I should. But everything he's gotten, y'all, I've had great results with.
So it's Charlie approved.
Yes. And Charlie's pretty picky.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have to make sure that we get a picture of Charlie. Well, Trina, we thank you so much for this opportunity. And, you know, for you out there that are listening to this live or listening to it later, we are looking for voices. If you look at what we're doing and think, I want to help some animals, join us. Come on and be an advocate, earn some rewards money, but more importantly, help some animals and help people. This is a mission. We want 1 million voices. So,
yeah. And you talked about the humanitarian projects, and I know that the people that are attracted to you and that are attracted to your channel are people that are contribution focused.
Yeah.
They're people that love deeply. They're people that care about things bigger than themselves. And that's the whole purpose of this rewards program, is to put these resources into good people's hands. Let's redirect the spending that's happening. Let's get pets and people these better options and these better products, get that into their bodies, redirect the spending, and then put those resources into good people's hands that will do good work in the world with them. We're tired of lining the pockets of people that don't care. We're tired of lining the pockets of people that not only don't care, but are making decisions at the expense of pets and people, not even good for them. So let's redistribute these resources that God has given us, put it into good people's hands, and then we can really create significant change on a local level. That's our heart with our advocacy program, is to really do some good in the world on a local level. And it starts with us. Like, the time is now. It starts with you right now, using what you have where you are. You know, and if you feel that calling in your heart, which that's what we responded to, we felt this calling, we felt this conviction, and God spoke to us, and we just said yes. We haven't looked back. And now thousands and thousands of animals and people over the last 6 years' lives have not only been changed, but saved because of that decision to say yes to what God's doing, to be obedient and to follow him every step of the way. And so if you're feeling that, you know, if that's resonating with you, reach out to us. We'd love to share with you how you can be part of the solution with us and be a voice.
Awesome. Well, I love that. And like I said, for everybody that's wanting to find it, right there, they've got the link, trinawpets.com, and then my Redneck Rhapsody shop. It has all of my affiliate links, and I think the pet care is about the third or fourth one down. Just click the link. It'll take you right to it. We love all of our audience, that especially our pet owners, because we know that is something special that God puts in people's hearts, because we have to serve our pets.
Yeah.
Because they can't go kill if they live in an apartment building. They cannot go out in the wild and kill a rabbit or kill, food. So, y'all are special people. And we want you to take care of your little animals just like you do your humans, and love on them and keep them healthy. Ladies, are you okay if we close in a quick prayer?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Heavenly Father, we just give you glory and honor. Thank you for this Shana Tova of this new year that we are walking into, that it will be 5785, and that we know it is got grace on both sides of it, Lord. It is new beginnings. It is your perfect number of completion. And we are going to walk into and under the umbrella of knowing that your love is here to support and to keep us and just surround us, Father, for these trying times. We thank you so much for each and everything you do. We thank you for the mushroom ladies, for them giving us alternatives to be able to stay healthy and to take our animals into a healthier process, and for their knowledge and their wisdom to share with all of our audience. And Father God, to give our audience an opportunity to give their pets a place to where they can stay healthier, but also a benefit financially for them. Lord, just bring the right people into each other's paths and let us connect the dots for each and every human, that we can lift each other up and to continue to share your grace and your love and your mercy. In Jesus Christ's precious name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you all, and we will see you tomorrow on Hero, only over on Rumble. And happy Rosh Hashanah and Shana Tova. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.